Hi everyone, thanks for joining the webinar today. My name is Megan Caprera. I'm the events coordinator for the State Bar of Montana. I would like to thank Lou Villemez for taking time to give this presentation today. As a registrant, you're automatically muted to keep out background noises. If there's time at the end of the presentation, Lou will take your questions. Please use the chat feature on the GoToWebinar tool panel to submit your questions. If there's not enough time at the end, you can email your questions to me and I will forward it to Lou for a reply. You can find my email address listed in the chat feature here. I'll type it for you at the end. The materials of this presentation are also available. They are in the Handouts tab of the GoToWebinar tool panel, and you can download the PDF there. We'll get started. Lou, if you're ready.
I'm ready. Thanks so much, Megan. My name is Lou Villemez, and please call me Lou if you have the opportunity. I like to start out every presentation with a lawyer joke, so I hope no one out there is offended by lawyer jokes. Thanks, everybody, for your interest in this topic. I don't know if you heard about the terrorist group just recently took a whole courtroom full of lawyers hostage. And what they threatened to do was release a lawyer every hour until their demands were met. And then normally when I'm presenting, there's laughter, so I hope there was laughter out there somewhere. On the same lawyer note, I'm going to start this presentation with a disclaimer. The title of this webinar is Basic Estate Planning Documents, and I'd like to emphasize the word basic because these are definitely basic estate planning documents. The larger the estate and the more complicated things that your clients want to do, the less likely that you're going to use just these documents. You may use some of these documents. You may use different kinds of documents like trusts, living trust, testate trust. There's all sorts of estate planning documents which we're not covering today. The other word that I'd like to emphasize in the way of disclaimer is introduction. This is an introduction to these basic estate planning documents. As you might imagine, in an hour, we're going to cover a large number of documents. It would be easy to spend an hour on every one of these documents. So what I'm going to concentrate on is providing you some resources, an introduction to each document along with some interesting items that I have found in dealing with these documents over the past 20 years or so. And hopefully at the end, if I time myself correctly, we'll have some time for some questions. And if we don't have time to answer all the questions, I'll be happy to answer them by email, and I think Megan said she can coordinate that. So let's dive right in. I'm going to put the most important thing at the beginning because I'm betting probably at least some people out there are already starting to eat lunch and maybe multitask while they watch this webinar. So while you're still on target and focused, I'm going to start out with the most important thing, and that is the resources. Even better, I'm going to give you the best resource, in my opinion, right up front, and that is the MSU Extension Store, and that's what you see on your screen right now, and it's just store.msuextension.org, and once you go there, I'm going to click on Family and Community Topic Categories. And there are so many amazingly helpful things in this category. Helping children cope with natural disasters, understanding and managing stress. It is a great resource for anything, but clearly we're here for estate planning documents, so I'm just for fun, I'm going to click on Estate Planning for Pets. Now, I love this topic, and I'm ashamed to, and I'm a dog lover, and I'm ashamed to admit that I've never clicked on that particular document. But you can see it's free, so when you click on Download Now, the document pops right up. So you can read it and browse it, and you have the opportunity to download it to your computer, and it's completely free. I absolutely love this resource. And when I click the back button, let's see. Thank you. Megan's helping me negotiate this webinar, so I apologize for any delays. Now, maybe more of interest or to at least our careers in estate planning for pets, they provide you down at the bottom some interesting links that might be related to what you're looking for. And there's a couple of general topics: dying without a will in Montana, estate planning in Montana getting started. We're actually going to talk about beneficiaries later in this hour. So it's just a really amazing resource, and I strongly recommend browsing through it. And when you're first getting into a document, it's limitless as far as the assistance that it can provide. The next resource that I'm going to look at is actually one of the links that was provided in your materials, and it's the law library page on wills, trusts, powers of attorney, estate planning, and probate. And it also is a remarkable resource. It's not comprehensive, but it's really, really helpful. You can see all the variety of federal estate tax, revoking living trusts. You can just browse through that list and find incredibly helpful items, and they're modifying and adding to it all the time. There are some statutes that might be helpful to what you're looking for at the beginning of the page, and I'm sorry if you're getting seasick by me going up and down. But at the beginning of the page, there are extremely helpful forms. We're actually going to look at some of these forms later. Before we do that, I have one more resource that I'd like to show you, and that is the Department of Health and Human Services page. And I actually have a contract to provide assistance to elderly people through this part of the Department of Public Health and Human Services through the Montana. And this is their state website. And every single form, basic form I should emphasize, that you might want is listed on this website. And you can just click it. For instance, if someone needs to file an affidavit of death to transfer something out of a joint tenancy, there's the form. Thank you. There's the form. So again, great resource. I highly recommend browsing it or using it if you're much better than creating a form from scratch, as you might imagine. And those are the resources.